Hey, so if you click on this video, it's probably because you're in the car business, whether you're on the sales floor in a BDC appointment setting position, or you are possibly a straight up internet salesperson that handles the deal front to back, cradle to grave, whatever you want to call it, and you might be interested in trying to figure out how you can level up your phone skills. And really at the end of the day, it boils down to leveling up your conversational skills. So if you're looking for some help with that, then this video is for you. So I'll just cut right into it. This is a brand new channel that I've put together. My name is Oscar Silva. I have been in the car business for about 17 years now. I've done a lot of different things, essentially everything on the sales side with the exception of washing cars. I've sold cars. I started my career on the sales floor, sold cars. I was asked to do appointment setting in the BDC as an internet position. Just on the front end, then I was asked to do front to back. And from there, I had an opportunity to become a BDM. And then I had an opportunity to become a sales manager. I had an opportunity to sit in finance for a super brief amount of time. Didn't like doing that. I figured that out right away in a matter of days. And all the other positions, everything was cool. It helped me grow in my experience. And I am currently still a BDM over 2 different stores. And so for me, I learned along the way that I had a lot of really good people that helped me in gaining the confidence I needed. I was the last person to work in sales, especially in what I feel like can be a little aggressive for some people and in the car business, right? And so with that, long story short, of everything I've done, I figured out that my path for me, my career, I really enjoyed the BDC, being a BDM, a business development manager. And really at the end of the day, I don't look at it like I develop business. I manage a team and work with some amazing people. And so my goal is to help people develop. And it's not a case where, it's something that I necessarily take credit for. I just take everything that I've learned and I've come to realize that I can package that skill set. And I went from utterly terrible, probably should have been fired, to really good on the phone, running conversations, understanding what the customer is truly looking for, what they're trying to say without using the actual words. So again, I just wanted to lay out some of the reasons why you might want to stick around and watch this video until the end. But as I post more videos, I'll kind of open up a little more about my different experiences. It could be what we maybe ran across on that particular day or the day before, and something maybe interesting with the customer. And I'm confident there's going to be a lot of things that will resonate with you. And again, I think we are at a time that's super crucial in the car business. We just came off the bubble of the pandemic, and it was tough on everyone across the board. It's proven to be tough, not just in the auto industry now, but in all kinds of different industries. If you look, there's a lot of restaurants. It's not a lot of it gets talked about, but there's a lot of restaurants closing, big box chain stores closing. And so at that point, in the car business, there's a lot more ups and downs. We are getting back to the pricing wars. We were able to get away from that, and the consumer, in my opinion, is now back to reclaim what they believe to be theirs, and they are as aggressive as before, possibly more aggressive. We are getting stocked up again on vehicles, so the supply is there. The demand, I believe, is still there, but there are some challenges that we're all aware of. You can call it higher interest rates that haven't gone down in quite a while, maybe the longest stretch in a really long time, where rates are hanging up high. It's not as easy to sell that A+ credit person, because they're not looking at a lot of 0%. There's some stuff out there, OEM driven, of course, 1.9% incentivized rates and whatnot, but your standard rates are pretty high. So, and especially if you're selling used cars, right? So with that, I really wanted to touch on those few things. And again, I'll elaborate on that as I post more videos, and I'm going to try to post as much as I can. And really my goal is to share all of what I've learned, and it's something that I enjoy doing. And for me, the biggest thing financially, you can earn a great living in the car business. There's no question. Some people earn ridiculously high amounts of money. And to their credit, whether they're hard workers, they have to be, and took it seriously and honed in on their skill sets and really decided that this was their thing. And so it's been good to me as well. And again, I just think that there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people that may not be able to do something else. And this is an industry for you. So whether you are new to the car business and you might feel a little lost, a lot of dealerships, for various reasons, I'm not going to get into even my own opinions on it, don't offer a lot of training. I was lucky enough to come from a store that had 2 rooftops and a used car, and everything revolved around training. If I had not had that, there's absolutely no way. Not only am I not doing 17 years, I probably wouldn't have lasted 17 days in the car business. So I'm grateful for that, for a lot of people that I worked with that helped me along the way and really believed in me and gave me a lot of confidence, and I'm just appreciative of it. And I absolutely love to help people who want to take on this as a career and grow and be serious and put in the work and do the things that are not going to turn a car deal just because you did something in the morning and by the afternoon or evening you expect it to turn a car deal. This is longer term, and this is there's different stores out there, right? There's your large volume stores, and I'll open up more. Those they're not that difficult to sell cars in. They probably spend several $100,000 on advertising, if not millions, depending on who you might work for. And so you can sell 15, 20 cars. It just does not require as much as if you can find something helpful out of this content, awesome. I hope you can go from selling 20 to 30 cars or 40 cars, and I believe it's doable. I am, however, a little more focused on people that are in situations like myself, where you're from a smaller area and you're from a mom and pop store where you don't have a lot of those luxuries, and driving traffic, a lot of it is going to fall on you. And so I know I said probably a lot more than I intended, but those are some things that I wanted to get out there and kind of preface why I'm doing this in the first place. And I just love connecting with people and watching people go from, even like me, a struggle to gaining a pretty decent skill set, to being able to handle the rejection that comes with this and stand your ground and say, all right, that was terrible, but I know what I could have done better, and I'm going to do it better on the next one, and on the next one, and on the next one. And there's going to always be a next one. And as long as you carry that with you, I can guarantee you there's nothing that's going to stop you from going from struggling to being really and truly damn near amazing. I know I've done it, not bragging in any kind of way. I'm not the best, but I'm really, really good. And I believe that if you continue to stick with what I'm going to be putting out, you can get there too, if you feel like that's a destination for you or a journey for you, because it doesn't really stop. I learn something every single day. So with that, I'm going to cut into the Phone Up Success Map. Obviously, you can see that the first thing is the greeting. Thank you for calling ABC Motors. This is Oscar. How can I help you? Guys, that's going to be about the way you project that, right? So the standard greeting could be something like, hi, my name is Oscar. Thank you for calling Silva Chevrolet. How can I assist you today? It doesn't sound drastic, but it's enough of a variance of a difference to get that customer a lot more engaged, because you are showing them that you're ready to go and you actually desire to help them. That first sentence, that greeting out of your mouth, that sometimes we do lazily, if that's a word. Sometimes we are pissed off about whatever. If that's the case, just make sure that every time that phone rings, right before you pick it up, just get clear. Just start fresh and do your best to project a positive greeting. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. The next thing is a source. What do I mean by source? So source is going to be, where did you find us? Was it a drive-by? Were you on our lot the night before, while we were closed? Most people, of course, we know they Googled it and they landed on our page. They're on our website. Third-party sites, you can be using CarGurus, AutoTrader, TrueCar. There's so many, I don't even know off the top of my head, but you understand where I'm going with that. And the reason why you want to ask, where did you find us, and see what's the last thing they say. Understand that the customer journey, there's something I saw this, it's been a couple of years, it's like 26 to upwards of 30 different touch points. That's how scattered a consumer is. That's why a lot of times by the time they get to us and we have a conversation, we take it like they're being rude and they're just frustrated. And if you want to get really, really good at this, not just the job as a whole, but at this part in particular, you can take that person that you believe is being rude and get to the root reason. Why are they that way? They don't know you. They don't know you to be rude toward you. They probably haven't had an experience prior to this with you. But instead of getting mad and pissed off and hanging up the phone and talking about the customer, why not step it up and try to slow the customer down, right? So I can get into that in some other videos, but this one in particular, if they're car gurus, what does that mean? That means that they're shopping the great price, the good price, the fair price, and the awful price. So depending on where you are in that mix, but at the end of the day, they still submitted a lead, right? So, you know, if it's Auto Trader, we know that any of you that use Auto Trader, those people will buy. They'll fly in from, we've had people flying from Hawaii, we've had people flying from all different states across the United States because we had the vehicle that they were looking for and it was spec'd out exactly how they wanted it. So that those sources will give you a better idea of who you're working with. And of course, if it's your website, that's the one we really want. Why? Because they're in our ecosystem, right? They know our name, most likely, and so they've seen our branding, and so that's the one that statistics say, right, tend to be more lower funnel. Doesn't mean it's always true, but typically tends to be. The next thing is going to be flexibility. So flexibility is, to me, they're going to be shopping on a vehicle, so they're looking for a brand new Chevrolet Silverado, let's say, and at that point, they might, most likely, they're going to give you a stock number. And let's say you're kind of limited on that particular stock number that they're looking for, or as far as identical models, right, like MSRPs. And so the way we handle that is to figure out what the features are that are truly important to them and make sure you're writing that down so that you can reiterate that back to the customer so they understand completely that you're totally engaged in listening. And at that point, it's a pretty clean, simple line. You know, Mr. Customer, let me look at that stock number. Give me just a minute. While I'm doing that, Mr. Customer, if I don't have that exact stock number, it's a possibility there could be a deal pending. It could have just got sold last night and hasn't dropped from the website, right? If I can find something similar that's going to still provide you with the features and the different things that you're looking for, and it can fit your budget, are you open to some other options? That right there creates a flexibility, because a lot of times if you don't do that, you've never been trained to do that, and if you've been trained, you don't practice it and you're terrible at it, it's not going to work, and you're going to be cornered into that stock number, and it's going to sound something like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, Mr. Silva, you know, I don't have the best news. That vehicle was actually sold the day before yesterday. I apologize, it didn't fall off the website, you know, so, but I'll tell you what, Mr. Silva, if something else comes in that's exactly like that, I'll go ahead and have you on my list here, and I'll be definitely reaching out to you. Does that sound good? Yeah. Okay, great. Bye. And now we blew an entire opportunity. And guys, depending on your marketing budget and how many calls you're generating, you could have just hung up on $200 to $300. It just depends. Phone calls to get these days are pretty expensive. They've always been, and they're probably more expensive now than ever. So that's flexibility, just to give you an idea, right? The next thing, of course, is contact info. Some people are going to say, get the contact info up front and use their name. I'm not opposed to that. This is just the way I've always done it. My belief has always been, I'm going to give you in order for me, before I ever ask for anything in return. Now, the name up front, again, build rapport, make it stick. I've done this for years. It works extremely well, and other people are going to make it work well with the name on the front end. So that's your choice of preference there, but the way I do it is, you know, I'm going to give you all that information. I'm going to line it up. Hey, great news. I have that stock number showing to be available, sir. Not only that, I actually have some other options that I'm confident are going to fit what you're looking for. So, and I'm sorry, and right there, right, we kind of, how do you say, like switch it up a little bit and kind of, you know, bounce around just so it's not a mundane, just a straight monotone, boring call. So at that point, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, Sir, I totally apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't even get your name. Oh, my name is Oscar. Oscar, and your last name, sir? Silva. Can you spell that for me, please? S-I-L-V-A. Nice to meet you, Mr. Silva. My name's Oscar as well. What a coincidence, right? So I'll tell you what, I do have great news, like I said, Mr. Silva. That truck is showing to be here and some other options. Let me do this. Let me confirm and make sure there's no deals currently pending on it, because that's a possibility. At times it happens. It doesn't happen all the time, though. So in order for me to do that, it's going to take me roughly about 20 minutes. I don't say 30 minutes. I don't say 25. I like to stick with 20, and I should be able to get that information back to him in 10 minutes. So I've under-promised and way over-delivered versus the other way that some of us are doing. So at that point, I'm going to say, what's the best number to get back to you? And it's going to be, 361-455-5780. Awesome. Repeat it back. So that's 361-455-5780, correct? Great. Yes. Get him in the mode of saying yes. If by chance, Mr. Silva, I can't get you on the phone, is it okay if I just shoot you a quick text message? Yes. Awesome. Also, I'd like to send this in an email just in case, for whatever reason, you may miss that communication. How do you list your email address? Or is it Oscar@Yahoo or Oscar@gmail.com? If you do it just like that, guys, the majority of the time you're going to get the email address. So we're going to move on from there. The next thing is going to be proximity. So proximity, to me, proximity determines the degree of difficulty in getting a customer to the store. So it's a little fancier way of saying, depending on how far they live from you, it's going to be how difficult it is for you to set that appointment and get them to show or not, right? I just love the word proximity over whatever I just said. So the way we do that is you take your specific town. This is pretty verbatim. So we live in a town called Kingsville. So what we say is, hey, Mr. Silva, by chance, are you from the Kingsville area? Hey, Mr. Silva, by chance, are you from the San Antonio area? Hey, are you from here from the Houston area? Hey, are you from here from wherever you're from, wherever you're watching this, right? So just, hey, by chance, are you from the insert your town, or a small town, or city and area? Are you by chance from the Sacramento area? So at that point, we want to gauge more precisely how far they are. How long is that drive? Because we want to take the time objection away and be proactive versus them saying, no, I'm not going to make, that's too long of a drive. So what we say is, oh, you're from this town? Oh, you're from this city? You're roughly about 25-ish minutes away. You're roughly about 35 or so minutes away. You're roughly about 45 minutes away, sir. It's a super short drive. No issues in getting here. We say that because we want to get that commitment. We want to give that customer a chance to back out right then and there, not back out, but create some kind of resistance and say something like, yeah, no, that's way too far. You'll be surprised, 95% of the time, they don't. And that's because everything moves sequentially for a reason. Everything's laid out. If you practice it, role play it, do all those things, and you can transition from one thing to the next, they're never going to understand that you have a map in front of you. I also have a complete script that I'll be covering in another video, and you can obviously take notes, write this down, but that's the best thing to do. And with my script, I can post that as well in the next video. So I'll definitely work on putting that together. But at that point, you want to take that away, right? And if they don't balk at what you're doing, it's most likely because you're doing a very, very solid job at transitioning from step to step to step, right? So once we've determined that we didn't get any resistance from the customer, now we know we're getting somewhere, right? These last two are super important. The next one from proximity you can see is going to be trade. So on the trade part, 7 out of 10 customers are going to trade in a vehicle. So to me, it's always been the focal point to setting up the appointment. And here's how I do it. Whenever somebody says, a lot of people tend to stay away from trade because they don't want to open that door, right? Because you're nervous, you don't really have a plan, the skill's just not there, and that's okay. A lot of that is not anyone's fault. A lot of it falls on, where you might work, and some dealers believe in it, excuse me, and some dealers don't, and that's okay too. It's everyone's prerogative, right? Again, I'm the biggest believer in training because I am a true product of, if I can, I don't care who's on the other side of this, listening to this video, whoever you are, if you just have the desire to grow and be coached and do the work, I guarantee you, if I can do it, you can do it. So with that, we cut into the trade. Hey, by chance, Mr. Silva, what are you trading? You might as well just take your shot. If he's not, he's going to tell you I'm not trading, no harm, no foul. Great. You're not trading. Awesome. That speeds up the process tremendously for you. It's one less thing for us to have to kind of dig into. Make it a positive. Now we're going to focus on the 7 out of 10 people that are trading. And so what do we say? By chance, Mr. Silva, what are you trading? Oh, I'm trading in a 2019 Ram 1500. Awesome. Sounds like a really nice truck. And from our short conversation, I can definitely tell, Mr. Silva, that you're the type of person that has that very well kept. Right? Is that accurate? Is that accurate to say? Yeah, it's really clean. Awesome. Let me ask you this, Mr. Silva. You always want to go to mileage. How many miles, more or less? Not what's the mileage. The goal here is to give them the freedom to give you an estimation, because the less they have to think in precise numbers, the less frustration they have, and the easier it is to progress them more towards the appointment. So hey, by chance, Mr. Silva, give them an either or. It's called the paradox of choice. I learned that at a conference. I learned it as either or for like 15 years. And then I heard paradox of choice, and I love nicer words, and I just thought that was cool. But nonetheless, it's an either or, right? Hey, by chance, Mr. Silva, it's a 2019, so we know it's roughly 5 years, 12 to 15 miles a year, so 60 to 70,000 miles is a good guess, good estimation. So you would say, hey, Mr. Silva, how many miles on that odometer, more or less? Are you like looking at somewhere between, 60 to 70, a little higher, a little lower? And at that point, you allow them to choose, and then boom, now you got them. And again, everything's smooth, transition, step to step. So he's going to say 50,000 miles, awesome. If he says 150,000 miles, awesome, right? So if it's low mileage, what's the benefit? Hey, Mr. Silva, that's awesome. That's actually lower on the lower end. So that means a better trade value for you, and that's exactly what we're here to do. If he says, oh, man, Oscar, God dang it, I got 150,000 miles. Hey, Mr. Silva, that's awesome. We have buyers that specifically look for 100,000 miles and higher up odometers. Like that's what they do. That's what they specialize in. That's how they make their money, and they're definitely a help to us. So don't worry about the fact that it says 150 instead of 50. We have a buyer for it, and so because of that, we're going to maximize that trade value for your 150,000 mile vehicle. Does that sound good for you? Yes, awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is please don't say things like top dollar and any of those other things that you hear in your dealership in commercials or whatever. Those things, I highly suggest stay away from it. Come up with more creative ways. What we say is absolute most value for your trade. It just, people don't say it. They say top dollar, and you can go ahead and say it if you want clearly, but I just think it's utterly terrible. So at that point, we would say, hey, Mr. Silva, so here's the deal. In order for us to get you the absolute most value for your trade, 3 things have to happen. So now I'm going to paint the picture. How does this all work? I'm not going to just say it's top dollar. When can you bring it in? That's awful. That's uncreative. If that's a word, that's lazy. That's so many things. And somebody can say, oh yeah, it works. It's because you've never done it. You've never done it any other way. You don't even know. There's no comparison to, could you be better? Because I promise you can be better than, yeah, we'll give you top dollar. When can you come in? So it could sound something like, hey, Mr. Silva, I'll tell you what, sir, in order for us to get you the absolute most value for your trade when you get here, right? We're going to throw that in because now, again, did he balk? Does he not? Do we move on? When you get here, 3 things are going to happen, right? So the first thing is, I'm going to grab the keys from you. I'm going to get my appraisal guy or girl ready to go when you get here so we can save you a lot of time. We normally don't do that, but to save you time, being that you're coming in from half an hour away, I'm going to revamp that process for you to make this a better experience. And I'm sure you can appreciate that. So with that, 3 things are going to happen. My manager is going to walk around the exterior. He's going to jump inside, inspect the interior. And here's the kicker, Ms. Silva, and I know 100% that you're aware how this works. In order for us to get you all the money, and sometimes higher than book value, depending on how clean the vehicle is, and that breakdown, right? So in order for us to do that, he has to drive it, right? And so once he's able to do that, and while he's working on that, we're going to go look at that Silverado we talked about, and we'll put everything together. And so, you know what, Mr. Silva? And here's the big idea. And if you change it up like that, what we're doing is we're educating him, right? Or her, whoever the customer is. And we're bringing them into our world and explaining everything. And we're painting pictures with our words. And we are finessing the entire process versus just trying to just go straight to the appointment. That is so, you're probably going to hear me say terrible and lazy a ridiculous amount of times. And you might even, if you're subscribed, unsubscribe, but it's terrible and it's lazy. Don't be terrible. Don't be lazy. be creative, be energetic, be enthusiastic, right? Enjoy what you're doing, enjoy helping this individual make a massive life decision. So with that, I'm going to throw out this big idea so it doesn't seem like all I want to do is rope this person into an appointment. So I'm going to say, he's going to get you all the money on our end, but of course he's got to drive it. I'm sure you understand completely how that works. So you know what, Mr. Silva, let's do this, right? It's about 10 a.m. I don't know, this afternoon or evening, maybe even tomorrow morning. Would you have an opportunity to set aside? We can get a lot done in 60 minutes or less, Mr. Silva. Would you be able to set some time aside to come in so we can get this ball rolling for you and make sure that everything checks out? Does that sound good for you? Do you have an opportunity later today or tomorrow morning? And if he says yes, great, you cut into the appointment setting process. If he says, well, no, I'm really not sure, I have to work, at that point, you can cut in and you can say, I totally understand, and of course, I respect your time, and it's my responsibility to work around your schedule. Let me ask you this, what does your work schedule look like? Right? Is it this? Is it that? Maybe Saturday? Does that work for you? Again, I can go into depth in another video, and if you guys have comments along the way, please just throw that in there and let me know kind of things that are stumping you and things you'd like to see videos on. I'm ready to go and provide you guys with the most value that I can, right? So at that point, if he says, you know what, Saturday's going to work, so you're going to cut into it. There's no fancy, whatever at the end of it. Once you're in the appointment, awesome. That morning, afternoon, I know a lot of people are like, well, that's old, that's dated. This is how I do it, and it works, right? High percentage of appointments set, shows, and then the sales. That's going to be whether you're selling, it's going to be on your sales team. I more focus on the appointment set and the appointment show rate. So with that, Ms. Silva, is that in the morning? Great. We get here at 9. If you're coming in from or from wherever you are, 30 minutes down the road. So with that, how does 10:15 sound? 10:30, 10:45, 10 o'clock, whatever number you want to pin down, or whatever time rather. And then he's going to say yes. To say great. Okay, I'm going to go and put you down for 10 a.m., 10:15, 10:30. I don't worry about the logistics of east and west and all of that stuff. It used to be a thing. I just don't believe it's not. It really is a thing anymore. And then from there, you can ask those questions. Even though there's GPS, by chance, do you know where we're located? I'm going to go ahead as soon as we hang up, and I'm going to shoot you a text and my contact details if you're the salesperson, or I'm going to send you the sales consultant's contact details. The individual is going to assist you when you get here, and I'll send you the directions as well. So, but if you know where we're located, all the better for you. And I'll tell you what, when you get here, Mr. Silva, you're going to ask for the individual in the text message, and I'll make sure that they're going to be readily available if it's not yourself, and that they're ready to go when you get here. Does that sound good? Yeah, no, sounds great. So is there anything else possibly, Mr. Silva, that I may have missed, or anything at all that I can assist with you, or assist you with? No, I'm all good. Okay, if anything comes up in the meantime and you want to push that appointment any sooner, maybe you get out of work early or decide to leave work a little early, please, you can give me a call, or if you'd like to texting is not a problem, and I can change that for you, make those changes, and make everything, move things around and make sure that we're ready to go when you get here. The last thing I want, Mr. Silva, is for you to be waiting around and for whatever reason, we're not prepared for you. That's definitely not how we do business here. I want to make this an amazing experience for you, where you don't want to come in and buy one car today. We want to build that relationship, so we're here to help. And then that's it. So there's a lot going on, and this video ran way too long, but I'm going to cut it there. And so again, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. I hope that you like the content and subscribe. And I know that there's a lot of different content out there. A lot of it is highly motivational and hardcore, and there's all kinds of, some of it's great messaging, some of it I don't align with. It's not that I disagree with it. I think any content is great. I just don't align with it. And I know there's a huge segment of people I'm confident that are more like me, that are looking for, how do I finesse these opportunities? And by finesse, I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean it in a negative context way. I mean literally just smoothly have these conversations so that you hit it off, and before you know it, the customer is just like, wow, I have to go work with this person. Even if you're a BDC front to back sales, front to back appointment setter, you can create a a scenario in this customer's mind where, because you represent the dealership, even though they're going to get handed off to another individual, by default, because you handled this so well and they connected so well with you, they can only assume that everybody else operates the same way you do. So you're just as important if you're an appointment setter and you're not the front to back person or the actual salesperson. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, like and subscribe for more content, and please comment away on anything that you might need assistance with. So I will see you on the next one.